Okay. I remember when I was growing up.
We'll come to okay. Let's bring to us. Thursday, what's your response to this?
You see, Chamberlain, I feel like the overarching conversation around this issue shouldn't be about whether young people are lazy or not. It is the gross misrepresentation and the sweeping generalization of the description of what Nigerian young people are by our own president at an international forum. I would gently disagree with my colleague because it's not so much about the statistics of how many poor people are in Nigeria and all that. But I would have expected that the president would have used that opportunity. See, the tragedy is not the answer. The tragedy is the question that was asked to the president, that was posed to the president, which is, what are the opportunities for investment in the Northeast? And I expected that the president should have responded saying that, look, our young people are industrious and smart, our young people, Nigeria is open for business. Because I don't know if we're paying attention to the possible implications of that statement and what it can do to investor confidence. Because the truth is, countries are not rich because of what they have. Therefore, Nigeria is not a rich country. Countries are rich because of their know-how. Human capital plays a crucial role at the very epicenter of a country's development. So when I'm thinking as an investor of coming to put money in Nigeria, I'm not investing in the arable land, or I'm not investing in the billboards. I'm paying attention to the kind of return on investment that I will get, the quality of human capital and labor that would help me to be able to take that business that I'm bringing to the country to the next level. And I thought that the president would have used the opportunity to say that the Northeast, yes, though volatile at the moment, we understand that this is a time that we need the international community to pay attention, support us to be able to bring foreign direct investment. This is what we've done. I sit on the board of the Victim Support Fund Committee, and I know how much work the Victim Support Fund and the Presidential Initiative of the Northeast have done extensively, building schools, rebuilding hospitals, providing psychosocial support for victims of terrorism in the Northeast. I expected that kind of response that would assure, foreign investors, that would assure the international community, that would inspire hope and encourage young people, should have been the answer of the president. Not that, because you see, for every lazy or indolent young Nigerian, there's young people in this country that are creating jobs. There's young people that are working multiple jobs to be able to put food on the table. Yaba, the tech ecosystem of Nigeria, where young people built from scratch with zero government investment, was the first destination of Mark Zuckerberg when he came to Nigeria, before he thought about visiting the government or visiting the president.
What for you constitutes a lazy youth?
I think a lazy youth would be, number one, a person who has opportunity at his or her beck and call and wouldn't do anything to leverage those opportunities. We need to be careful with the kind of hasty generalization and judgment that we place at the feet of young people of this country. Because when President Buhari says things like they believe that young Nigeria is an all-rich country and they're waiting for free healthcare and free these are actually our rights as citizens. That I want healthcare in my country. I mean, I read a tweet yesterday from some fellow called Ekujumi, who said that his cousin was on life support at a public hospital in Ilorin, and the doctors then went on strike, and she had to leave the hospital, and because she could not afford a private hospital, she died yesterday. So that country, in the United Kingdom, where President Buhari was speaking, is a country where young people actually enjoy certain types of benefits. That generation of Nigeria that enjoyed chicken and milk while they were going to school, that got the best of education, that didn't operate in a system where Boko Haram took over the system, where there's no merit, where the people whose children are the ones, because they're rich, are the ones who get all the privileges, and the rest of us are the ones who suffer and hustle for everything. You cannot judge us, because in law we call it nemo dat quod non habet. You cannot give what you do not have. So if you don't give young Nigerians education and you expect a miracle, it's a failure on the part of the government and the elders of this country. You give us education, you don't give us the quality of education that will help us be competitive. You think about a Rwanda, a country that came out of genocide, almost 25 years ago.
Where then lies the rift, if I can come to you? Where then lies the rift between delineating what Mr. President says and the structural imbalances that we've had in the country that will seem to suggest that some things would have been better than they are today?
Well, like she has rightly said, which I also said earlier on, is that, you know, the state has failed, the family has failed, because when you look at the structural imbalance that we have today, what is the mentality of the average Nigerian? That there's a time in this country whereby we measure people by their intellect rather than what is in the pocket. But
so what is the average mentality now?
The average mentality, if you ask me, is one in which we worship wealth than worship integrity and character.
The average mentality?
Yeah.
But you know there are many who will tell you straight away that that absolutely is not correct.
Well, that is my own opinion. People are also entitled to theirs. So what we are saying here is that we have a society today that we need to work on our youths because of the fact that the thinking out there, what they have come to see as a way of life.
Okay, let me jump in, because in your opening comments, I heard you say that the state has failed, which you said again now.
Yeah.
Leadership has failed over time, which you also underscored.
Yeah.
So, in the light of the comment that he made
Yeah.
and how people are responding to that,
Yeah.
do you see some justification of why people are angry